I'm Zainab Hassan. I'm originally from Somalia and mainly grew up in a family that giving was part of our life, especially my mother, who was actually very much involved in the community and has been known to be somebody who really gives to people, whether it's her time and energy as well as her material given. And when I was actually growing up, I didn't quite like that because sometimes she would even give out our clothes if she didn't had other things. I mean, cash or non-perishable, food items, especially people who would come from the countryside and who are nomads who come, to the city to get, things for their family and their children, especially those who, especially during the droughts and when, the environment is not very nourishing and very nurturing environment, especially for the animals and for their husbandry as well as, the whole family. So I grew up in that quite not liking it, especially when my things are given to other people without, me having any say to it. But as I grew, mainly I'm become a mature person. I have been involved in the local community here in Minneapolis area, in Minnesota mainly, as well as also some of the community members who work and do projects in Somalia. I have been involved in education as well as also healthcare projects that also locally do community organizing, immigration issues, human rights and social justice. You name it. I have been involved in a lot of mainly campaigns. I have been volunteering my time as well as also given yearly to organizations that I really believe in the work that they do. In terms, I also, in my daily work also, I'm involved in philanthropy because I am a program officer and also read a lot of proposals, work with a lot of nonprofits. I do all the mainly reviews and recommendations for funding and work closely with both some of the public sector projects as well as most of it nonprofit organizations who are our grantees. So I get to be involved in all in a lot of different levels, whether it's international giving or whether it's local and or whether it's organizationally and whether it's individually. And I'm actually planning to develop a fund under my name so I can actually have some institutional giving in a sense. So I would be given, organizations institutionally as well. And I think, so our community would also learn that even though we give a lot every day, whether it's given family members who are refugees in abroad, whether it's Kenya, Ethiopia, whether it's Uganda, or whether it is Yemen, or you name it. Our community, the Somali community, is one of the largest communities dispersed around the world. So we have relatives, friends, neighbors back home who are actually around the world and would call us and ask us to support them, especially when they are refugees and having difficult times. So we give, a lot, but we don't do a lot of institutional giving. We sometimes, of course, support projects that would do some work back home, whether it is mainly building schools, whether it's supporting hospitals, whether it's mainly projects that would dig, wells for water, you name it, whether it is, for instance, emergency situations like, the crisis right now that is about, the droughts in Somalia that is causing a lot of famine for people. We actually, right now, I'm involved in a project that we are putting together, mainly collecting donations and sending back home, so people would have at least some money to buy food, especially those who lived in the countryside and were nomads, and their animals mainly died because of the drought. So they don't have anything. They don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have clothes, they don't have shelter. So they mainly are internally displaced and are in specific, cities that they came to, especially in South Central region. So I'm involved in that project right now, collecting donations so they can at least, temporarily in a short period, families would have some food and mainly some medicine and water. So I think for me, giving and philanthropy gives me some sort of a satisfaction, in a sense, self-satisfaction. It makes me feel good about myself. Also, I think as a community and as a Muslim woman, there are some obligations into giving. Yearly, at least twice, we have to give. One is about our assets. We have to pay at least give 2% of our assets, and then during the end of Ramadan, before the next day, the holiday, you have to also give at least a day's worth of family, that equivalent of a meal for a family. So at least those two, are required, but we give a whole lot more than that. And to me, I have to be thankful for being healthy, to be able to work, to live, a comfortable life. So at least, I feel that it is my obligation to give back to the community. I also support some, my family members and relatives. I'm actually paid, the university of one of my nephews who is in Turkey, because of course he doesn't have, he can, pay his own tuition. So I support him, so he would be, mainly when he graduates, hopefully will have a better job, and he will give, and support others in return. So I do, I do a lot of different things, and hope to do more when I can. So I am so glad to be part of this project and to be involved in the Pan-African Women's Action Summit.